Hello, everyone. I am your host, Retro Mary, once again, and today it seems like a new patch has dropped for My Hero Ultra Rumble. People have been talking about it, but I really kind of want to go in depth a little more as to my own thoughts on the patch and to see what's happening here. So, with the patch recently that dropped on October 12th, 2023, as of time of recording, basically it's been an answer to the meta we currently have. And I think the answer is trying to keep everyone the same while toning down the blatantly, insanely strong characters. So we start out first with the big thing for this one. Midoriya, Bakugo, and Todoroki's damage reduced at all levels. Further alpha shot. This is amazing and incredible and fantastic nerf to them because at this point, people like Bakugo or Todoroki were basically just kind of shooting people in the back and they couldn't react to it at all whatsoever. Now they can't do that as well. I say they couldn't do that at all, but let's be real here. Damaging isn't exactly the only reason they were top tier, right? Like, they have that good mobility, they have good range, they have good skills, they have a ton of stuff. That's amazing. But they just reduced the damage. I think this is less of a, we want to make these guys not top tier, and more of a, we want to keep these guys exactly as they are, but make them not overwhelming. Give people a chance to fight against them. And basically, I think that's like the best way to do this. I think the way they responded to this patch was amazing. But they didn't just nerf characters. They didn't just take Bakugo, Todoroki, Deku, gave them the nerf stick, and call it a day. No. That'd be too boring. That wouldn't be finesse enough. We need some more beautiful pieces of patch to truly get going. And it starts here with Tenya Iida. Tenya's ability is Respiro Burst. Their move that lets them run around super fast across the entire stage. Yeah, that thing's reload speed's been increased. Basically, that means that thing is off cooldown for much shorter than it was before, which is great and awesome because that means he is able to just run around the map more often, which is good. That's an amazing buff for Iida because that basically, one thing that's really hard for him to do is be able to disengage and engage in fights over and over again. And with this reload speed buff, his mobility is going to be increased and he would be able to go in and out of fights more often, which is super good for Iida, because you want a rapid to go out, heal, and then come back in. Iida got the go out and was able to be in there, but wasn't really able to come back in as often. And I think this is a way they're trying to solve that. Make Respiro Burst something that lets you go out and go in, and then after you're done fighting, use Respiro Burst to go out again. Tsuyu's ability is actually something interesting too. Reduce effect duration at level 1, 2, and 3 for Camo Frog, her invisibility quirk. This is amazing because basically Tsuyu was one of, if Bakugo, Todoroki, and Deku were like the top tiers, then Tsuyu is literally just under them. They have been amazing. Straight amazing mobility. Burst damage to the point where they are the best rapid character in the game. And their Camo Frog ability is so strong. Lasting a long time, making it hard for you to chase them. Tsuyu's Camo Frog ability makes her an insanely strong opponent to deal with when it comes to chasing them down. Because you can chase them down, but it's going to be hard to find them when they're in Camo Frog so often and for so long. This reduced duration effect should help to mitigate that issue. Because Tsuyu is now no longer able to just kind of camp out in like end zone or something and just leave the fight while being invisible. They're gonna have to deal with things now. They're gonna have to deal with you now, and that's a very strong nerf. I think that CU players are probably gonna have a bit of a hard time dealing with this one at the start, and then just use their tongue a little more often. So overall, it'll probably be fine for them, but at the start, it's gonna be a little hard. Here comes one of my big winners for this one, Kirishima. Kirishima's special action hardening not only got decreased cooldown, but also extended duration. And not only that, red counter also has more bullets at all levels, and when they say that, it means it's more time to be used. So hardening is very good on Kirishima. Red counter is very good on Kirishima. As is. With this buff, Kirishima's going to go freaking insane. I'm not even fronting right now. One of Kirishima's big things is using that special action whenever they can to be able to hit enemies. And with their best quirk skill getting more uses and hardening being able to be used longer and more often, Kirishima is going to be the go-to tank for, I think, any team. Any team, Kirishima is going to be the go-to tank. Count my words. I'm not even fronting. I think they are going to be a go-to tank. We'll have to wait and see, though. We've only had about literally less than a day with this patch. So, let's see what happens. Shigaraki, however, has Area Glitch as their buffed move. Increase the number of bullets at all levels. So basically, they can use their dash more times. This is something that is interesting to me. I mean, Shigaraki needed more mobility, and I'm glad he has more mobility now that this buff's come up to him. But that being said, I don't know if this affects too much. Shiraki's main big thing is their damage, and they don't have the best mobility to get out of the situation. While this does, again, give him more mobility, it's not the best mobility. I think the one thing this could be interesting for is in a group fight, because you can use Area Glitch twice in a row. Which would be interesting, because basically what that means is that you can essentially chain it. You can have two people get dispositioned out of a fight, and then your teammate can hopefully capitalize on that more often. But that's me theorizing. And I don't think it's a super big change for Shigaraki, but we'll have to see as the metagame develops. You know what is a big change, though? Dabi. Dabi has their maximum health changed to 350. A massive buff from where they were earlier. And their quirk skill, Arson, which is their, their tracking homing attack, has their damage increased at all levels. This is just great. Dabi's main issue is the fact that he gets chased down and then he dies. So giving him more health to work with, more time to use his traps, and Arson having more damage means that enemies are less incentivized to come and chase you down. Which is very good, because Dabi needed something to make sure that they didn't get chased down as hard. Yeah, I'm not going to say Dabi's top tier or anything like that, but, man, they're looking much more similar to their beta days, and I'm very happy about that, because they may just be a menace to society over here. Now we have Mr. Compress, the last villain that's getting a buff here. Toga didn't even get touched, honestly, now that I think about it. Toga really didn't get touched. Mr. Compress, increased number of bullets at all levels for production magic, which is their alpha skill, basically their gun. And sleight of hand, their deflector, increased number of bullets, meaning that thing's going to last much longer. Overall, interesting buffs. I think this is another answer that they're trying to make for the meta that has been Todoroki, Deku, and Bakugo.
Sleight of hand has been the thing that's made Mr. Compress kind of the anti-meta at this point. If the Bakugo, Todoroki, or Deku play smart, they are able to just stop shooting and use physical attacks on Mr. Compress, and then that would leave them a bit open to attack from the other teammates. But that being said, Mr. Compress's sleight of hand is the one thing that's been kind of keeping them in check, and with them having their damage decreased and the fact that this thing's longer, I think they're really trying to answer beam and meta without being too heavy-handed on it. This may be a bit much, but overall, I guess we'll see where it goes. I think the last person that's really being talked about though is Mountain Lady, and that means her quirk skill Gamma Cannon is getting increased bullet amounts, which means that it's just getting used more. It's getting more often, specifically from 1 to 2. Which, oh dear mother of God, Mount Lady is the winner. Well, not the winner. I think that one's still Kirishima, but still, Mount Lady is definitely a second place participant in this patch. The fact that her quirk skill is something that gives her that mobility was alright. It was pretty good when it was only one. But again, it was only one. People will be able to shoot you out of that no problem if you aren't super careful with your slides. Not only will this mean that she's an insanely more mobile character, being able to use that slide twice, which keep in mind, you're going to slide in the air, mind you, and start it from the air. So she can essentially just fly with this kick. So overall, she has a lot of mobility that she can use to get around the opponent. But also, when she's giant, her damage has now gone up. Like, having two of those, it means her damage has exceedingly gone up. Because that means that she's able to do this kick that deals like 130 or something to a ton of enemies in an AoE radius, all at the same time, twice. She's able to do that twice with her stomp and her regular shots. So overall, Mount Lady got one big buff. I'm happy for it. Like, honestly, seeing some of these not as used characters get buffs so that they're able to be used more often, while the top tier of top tiers have kind of gotten nerfed. Yeah, I think it's been really nice. So my whole thoughts on the patch. This is a very comprehensive type of patch. I do wish the things were in more detail. How much damage did it have before, and how much damage does it have now, for instance, when it says damage reduced at all levels? And essentially, why do some of them have damage reduced at all levels, and then Tsuyu's has reduced duration effect at level 1, level 2, level 3? I'm assuming that that one's for early game in particular. Assuming Counter Frogs for early game in particular being as much of an issue, so in late game they're probably going to be just as good as they were before. So you're gonna want to level up that thing ASAP. Simply put, here's my thoughts there. They're trying to counter what's the current meta right now. Izuku, Bakugo, and Todoroki getting nerfed. Tsuyu also getting nerfed. And everyone else that has been touched by this patch, Iida, Kirishima, Shigaraki, Dabi, Mr. Compress, Mount Lady, all getting buffs to either their survivability, movement. Yeah, their survivability and their movement. That's essentially what's been buffed here. Some of it is damage, specifically, especially with Kirishima and Dabi, but their survivability and movement is 100% what's being focused on here. And I kind of like what they did with most of it. I want to see some more, especially for some characters that I may main. Yeah, sorry, I got a cough there. But yeah, with that being said, those are my thoughts on all the patches. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the patch notes are pretty cool? Do you guys think the patch notes are bad? Uh, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribly dibbly da doo 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 da. And if you don't know exactly who you're planning on maining, even with these patch notes coming through, might I suggest going to my video and choosing which main you may want to find using a quiz that I made. But yeah, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, I'll see y'all later.